After a year of protest and calls for change, there are people across the country who say they've lost trust in the government. Alexa Liacco met a man who is working to rebuild what was lost.
Politicians stand on his feet.
A pandemic, a fight for equity, an unprecedented election.
People are exhausted. People are losing faith in our institution of government.
This intersection in Minneapolis, where George Floyd was murdered, is an intersection between what tires us and what drives us. For Ron Harris, what drives him is simple.
Democracy is teetering on an edge. I'm worried, but I'm optimistic.
That optimism is part of his job. Ron is the city resilience officer in Minneapolis.
Resilience is essentially our ability to adapt, or a system's ability to adapt in the face of shock or stress.
Ron works with lawmakers creating legislation and community programs to address issues like climate change, epidemics, and political unrest. It's all so his community can recover from a crisis faster. 2020 was a wake-up call. And now Ron knows resilience is needed more than ever.
My first message is, I hear you and I apologize. I apologize that we have not, even to this day, got our institutions to a place, got our government to a place, got our politics to a place that actually reflects people's lived experiences.
But his apology comes with action. Ron is helping build a resource center just blocks away from this intersection called a resilience hub.
As evidence that we're committed to coming back, and we're committed to coming back in a different way, that in a way that builds community self-agency, that drives towards their self-governance, give people more voice, give them more resources, give them more space, and to support their leadership.
That's the city's plan, but what does the community want and need to be resilient?
This is my neighborhood.
High school teacher turned activist Marcia Howard has been here every day for 18 months working on a solution.
What does justice look like? What do you want? What do you need to thrive? And the answer were those 24 demands.
Marcia and community members created this list of changes, programs, and investments for the city to make. Many are already in action.
Multiple modes of community sustainability, investment, systemic change.
The fight to make this list reality is one this teacher says will make her city safer, more equitable, and more resilient.
I keep coming back for the possibility of change.
The community and the city may not agree on one road to recovery, but these two change makers do agree on one thing.
I'm convinced that there's nothing that we can't do if we bring folks together.
I think we keep going because of the power of collective action.
Solidarity is how both Marcia and Ron see a path to resilience for their city.
I think we all want that, and I think we can get there.
And while it may take a winding road, the path forward is one no one has to walk alone.
The power is still within us, no matter how bleak it looks, no matter how dour we feel. Where there's people, there's power. You realize that when you come to 38th in Chicago. You realize that at George Floyd Square.
For The Race, I'm Alexa Liacco.
A look at new voting laws around the country, next on The Race.